This summer I wanted a barbecue, so I bought a barbecue. Yeah, I'm a pretty logical guy. What's happening, Panda Nation? Peter Von Panda here outside with this. This is a barbecue that I just ordered, and it's one of the cheaper barbecues that I can find because I'm kind of a cheap guy looking for good value. This is actually by Master Cook. It's a 4-burner gas barbecue. So this bad boy's gonna run off of propane. And one of the things that I like about this is just the capacity. When I do barbecue, it's usually for multiple people. And so I didn't want something small. I wanted something that was going to be large enough to throw on multiple burgers, multiple dogs, corn, what have you. And this looks like it will do the deed. Now, it's not the highest end barbecue either. This thing was under 200 bucks when I bought it. So that's really what got my attention. But it comes in these two boxes. Looks like the top cooking portion of the stove here. And then we get this thing, which I'm not really sure what it is, but we're gonna find out. Let's get it unboxed and set up. Got it unboxed, 2 boxes, so I thought I would be pretty intimidated, but it actually looks like the top portion, the grill, the control panel, all of that comes kind of pre-assembled, which is kind of nice. So that actually looks not that intimidating. And then down here, it looks like just the base of it, you know, the sides, the bottom, the front doors, kind of a support tray, the wheels, the hardware there, the rest of the bolts, and that maybe upper grill need to go on. But otherwise, I think this is going to be relatively straightforward. So I'm going to follow the instructions here and get this thing set up. Right, so the first thing that we have to do is we have to take these little tiny angle brackets, and you can see the 2 sides here, and there's a bracket for mounting it already attached to each of these legs. But what we have to do is we have to put another bracket and on every leg here. And specifically on piece 21, you are going to take part 13 here, and then you are going to install it like this. So you can see that the 2 little holes will line up just like that, right? And you are also going to use these CC screws. So they are tiny, tiny screws. And I also have my cordless screwdriver here because I'm trying to take the easy way out. And for panel 26 right here, we are going to use bracket 32, and this is going to be twisted like this. And so you can see those 2 little holes will line up with these 2 little holes right there. Next, we're going to take the little casters and screw them into the bottom of these panels right there. So I got those casters on. I will say that some of these kits include a really cheap wrench. This does not. I used a 5/8 wrench here, so I think you're going to need that to get those wheels on. So that's kind of one of the drawbacks of buying a cheap grill, is that you won't necessarily get everything in the box that you need to assemble this. All right, on to the next steps. This is the bottom panel. This cutout here is going to hold your propane tank, and you're going to need one of these little magnetic locks that is going to mount right here. And so when you close that door, it's going to hold it shut. Now, you are going to need 2 screws to hold this sucker in. You are going to use these FF nuts and these EE screws. Once you have the magnet on, flip it over, and then you're going to want to take this long brass with the wing nut on the end, bolt here, and thread it in here, and that's what you will use to lock the propane tank in place. All right, now we're going to assemble the sides on here. With that magnet pointing out, I'm looking at the back of the tray, I believe, and I'm going to put the 26 on this side. So it's actually on my left, but it's on the right if you're facing the front of it, and then you're going to put that other side on there. Now you're actually going to use the BB screws to attach these 2 at the bottom here. So if I put it on its side here, you can see these little holes at the very bottom. There are holes inside of the tray here, so I will just line those up, and then I will screw in the BB screws into the bottom here to hold it together. All right, we've got the sides on, and now we need to put on the back here. The edge will face inside to give it a nice clean back here, but then you can see we have holes right there. We will use more of the BB screws to attach the back panel to the brackets in the back. Whew, it's coming together. All right, onto the doors. This is going to be pretty straightforward. We have a couple of holes on the front of each of them, and then we have these little plastic but chrome painted handles, so those will go on there. And then we are going to affix them with the AA screws. Time to affix the doors, and on the bottom of the door we have these little threaded ends, and what we are going to use are these little posts here. So you get these little brass posts, so you'll want to put those on either end. Now we have to put this front cross member on, and we will attach the magnet here as well. This will be the front, obviously, so what you need to do is have the magnet facing out. So you'll mount it there using the FFEE screw and have that magnet facing this way, and then you'll want to affix that top bar to them and then get the screws into the sides of the top bar. Okay, now you're going to take this cross member and you're going to attach it. You can see the 2 holes in there, so it's going to take some doing here, but you are going to screw it into the top here. Now, my strategy here, because I'm just one person and don't have a third hand, is I've gone ahead and attached this top bar by the top screws and then rotated it out. So that allows me to bring up these doors, line up these posts on both sides, and then I will push it in, and that should line up everything, and then I can put in the bottom screws in the back of these bars to tighten it down. One of my criticisms here, and I don't know how you get around it, but when you put the screws in here, and you can see there are these folded edges around, so it's actually really hard to get to. So for me, I use this really thin, long screwdriver to be able to get even an angle on it. Certainly a power drill or a cordless screwdriver was not going to get in there, but this allowed me to at least get in there and tighten it up. So it's just kind of a drawback to the way it's constructed that you're going to have to deal with. Now we've got the base set up here, and I'm going to take the top piece and drop it on here, and then we are going to secure it, I think, through these holes, through these little mounting brackets with the CC screws, which we have a bunch of those left. CC right there. Now, I am not sure that I would recommend this, but I didn't want to just lift this thing up and try to set it on there and line it up and maybe drop it on my own. So what I did is I just leaned it forward here, put the styrofoam under the front to hold it up, and you can see where these little brackets are going to meet these little holes. Well, I'm shocked that worked. Sometimes my bright ideas either work tremendously or result in me having to rebuy the whole thing. So I'm going to now lift this up, and we're going to work on the side trays next, which are underneath the grill here. So you're going to want to make sure you remove all your styrofoam and all of that, but then we'll get these little wings out and set those up as well. Right, there was a ton of stuff packed in there. Actually, what we have are the side plates, one there and one there. We actually have a handlebar for one of those side plates. We also have the little covers for the burner bars, and then we also have the grills here, which are really big cast iron. I'll tell you what, for being an inexpensive grill, these are kind of the biggest, most robust, and kind of professional looking grill bars I've ever had on a barbecue grill. All the ones I've had in the past are just like stainless steel wire, but these are pretty impressive, so that's pretty cool. So I'll probably put those on, and then we will use the rest of the screws to put everything else together and get this sucker set up. First of all, I think I'm just going to put these covers on. I think you just drop them over. It looks like there's a couple of D10s here and some cutouts on these little covers, so I think they will just center themselves just like that, and that will make sure that nothing drops directly onto those bars. Then we can put the grills on top just like that, and the other like a glove. And we have an upper decker here, and these lower front arm will go into this slot right there. Then the little hook will go over on the back through that little slot there, and then there's a hook to go over the back. So if I just put this in correctly, just like that, you can see how nicely that fits. And so we have a second rack for grilling some vegetables or cooking more stuff. That's cool. All right, we're going to install this handle to the front of this tray. This tray here, this side piece is number 9. It is the one without the additional heater. So this will go on the front, and then we are going to affix it with the 2 screws there, AA. All right, now on the left side of this grill, we have this little heat plate, and you can see we have the screws already attached here. So we're gonna take those out, put this on, and screw it in place. Now, before I tighten these bolts all the way in, I think these are actually going to be part of the bolts that hold up this side panel. As you can see here, we have those little openings. So I'm going to use them to slot over there. And then we have some screws down this side, which we are going to use. I think it's the rest of the CC bolts. And so we will attach it to that front panel there. So we're going to use some of these bolts already there to secure the back, and then the additional ones they include here to secure the front. All right, once you get those on, you can tighten them back up. All right, on the other side, it's going to be kind of the same thing. We're going to grab the one with that burner on there. These screws are already a little loose, so I think we're just going to leave them loose and then drop on the tray on top and then tighten those suckers in. Okay, got all these bolts tightened up. So now what we have to do is we have to put this control through the little opening right there, and there is a knob that we will attach to the other side, and then this little wire down here will connect up to this connector right up here. I think that's the igniter for this burner. So you're going to push this control through that hole. You're going to use this front panel and knob that they include, and then screws to attach the knob from the front here and clamp it in place. You are going to want to get the back end here, this little gas feed, into that sleeve first, so that it will give gas to that other side. So I am pushing the knob right up there. You can see the two holes, and then we'll put this faceplate on, and then these two silver DD screws to hold it in place. Once that's tightened down, then you can see the little half moon cut there will fit onto this only one way. So I'm just gonna push this knob on there, just like that. All right, goes on there a long way, cool. Then the very last thing I think we have to do is hang this little cup in through the back here to catch any grease that might fall down. And so you can see there's an opening where the tray will kind of drain everything, and there is just a little arm in there, so this should hang there and catch anything as it falls down. Cool. All right, it wasn't that hard to put together, but it definitely took me a little longer than I thought. I think it looks pretty good. I'm sure it works decently here. We've got 4 burners, a ton of space to put out your food, that upper deck here, after I get all this stuff off the master cook, all these little styrofoam particles. You can see here we have a thermometer on the outside, which is really nice, especially if you're trying to maintain the temperature as well as the timing of your food. We've got these 2 black wings off there, so you can put your food trays down there so you can prep and take things off. We obviously have the big burners here. Now, I don't have any gas set up to this, but what I was thinking here is that this is missing that piezoelectric igniter right there. But I think when you turn this to the gas on position, to the max position, it actually sparks something. So if I just turn this, you can hear it click when it gets to the max position, just like that. So I think there can be gas coming out of this. Now, if I look at this side here and I just turn this, and you can see, I think that little igniter right there. So if I turn it, you can see that spark. So I think this thing will ignite on its own. Now, if you are having problems with that or it gets clogged up, you can turn it to the max temperature, and then I would use a long lighter or a long match to ignite that. But it's pretty cool that this has that electric igniter, and I don't have to worry about replacing batteries, which you do in some of the other ones. Ooh, I'm excited about it. It does look pretty nice. I mean, it's got a nice look here, despite the fact that I still have styrofoam particles on there. I mean, the front here is obviously stainless steel, so that looks pretty premium. Silver doors, the powder-coated black pieces here, gonna make it look nice. And like I said, you can put your prep food or your completed food on either one of these sides. You have some hooks here for hanging towels and barbecue tools. So I think overall, for 200 bucks, I'm pretty impressed with this. So why don't you come on over and have a burger with me? If you want to pick this up, I'll put a link to it in the description below. Peter Von Panda, out.
If you wanna know about a brand, ask me. I'll check if what's in the bag's nasty. Better if you know what's up than the unhappy. I know what it feels like when you're done cashing. They tried their meal or drive their vehicle. Garbage delivered at your PO. I know you feel yo. You wanna scream, your head hurts on your pillow.
Discover more.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Explore deeper.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Live better.